Anybody say anything for the budget?
You could do that more for fire.
I do have one for Park.
So are the bleachers, before we do that, are the bleachers in this current budget, so it won't affect this new one as of right now? Right?
No, I thought it was already.
Do you know if those investors know what they have to ask for?
I thought it was.
Those have not been ordered.
Yeah, they've not been approved yet, so, so yeah, so to my understanding, that won't affect this budget. And I don't know if there's anything else in your recommendations besides the dinosaurs that you already removed that'll affect this, the new budget, right?
There is not anything else.
Okay,
that will
I
affect.
read that wrong, I thought it was not for this.
Okay, so that's it for this year's budget. I will change these and bring it back into the next council meeting for y'all for final approval.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay. Park and Recreation recommendation. Park.
So the Parks recommends that the sports complex allow advertising banners on the fences at the ball field. These are the ball fields by Walmart, with the understanding that the ball program members are responsible for proper installation and keeping a nice appearance, and with the funds from the advertising to be used specifically for sports complex.
We have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Against?
They held their elections, and the new individuals appointed for position of secretary, vice president, and president. They elected Rebecca Berkner for secretary, Roger Bridgman for vice president, and Andy Harley for president.
Motion to accept those.
Are we back to accept them, or was that just for now?
That's just for your
I
information.
think that was just to announce the meeting, so we don't do that.
They're requesting the use of Tingle Creek Park to hold a summer celebration on June 29th of 2024. The subcommittee hasn't met to decide on specifics yet, but a summary idea is a free-to-attend event for kids and families that will provide games, activities, and maybe refreshments. They are also looking at a movie at the pool that evening, and are requesting, and may request a free or discounted hour of swimming at the pool. For now, we're just requesting the use of the park for this event. Also, we understand the city requests we have liability insurance to cover the organizers of the event, since the city insurance doesn't extend to an event that the employees are not organizing.
Lance?
When you say a free event, where's the funds coming for providing refreshments?
We would be asking for businesses to sponsor that.
Well, that can't be done under anything from the city, because, it gets complicated. But
But it's
we're
not,
gonna have real problems.
but it's not under the city. It's a separate event. It's not under the city. It's
So-
just the grounds. We just want permission to take control of the grounds that day.
What entity is holding it there?
A personal citizen entity.
Okay, as long as it's not the park board,
Right.
because he presented it as park board, which
The,
is a different thing.
right. I mean, it's the members of the park board that are doing it, but it's not,
As long as we're clear that it's not the park board
Right.
that is doing it, but the individual members themselves.
correct.
It's kind of like a Halloween with that we did last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, for purposes of the meeting minutes, it needs to specifically state that that is not the park board acting as the park board, but the members of the park board
Yes.
in their individual capacities.
You got a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Lance gave me a
Okay.
Okay, motion by Jeff.
Second by Thomas.
All in favor? Opposed?
The next was a recommendation for the dining stores, the next fiscal year's budget, or take care of that. And the last is the park board is recommending to the council that the following items be purchased as the current bleachers are unsafe and currently not being allowed to use at the Hood Park football field. The park board secretary, Rebecca Bergner, has worked with Jerry Montgomery on the specifics for bleachers for the football area of Hood Park. Jerry has the specs for 2 sets of bleachers and 4 single benches costing approximately $26,000, which does fit into the current $27,000 budgeted for this fiscal year.
Alright, we got a motion?
I'll motion
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
that.
Against?
Who was that? Hold on, Jerry, who made a second on that?
We need to figure out what we're gonna do with the old bleachers, so you probably need to decide what you wanna do with them. Take them down, get rid of them, see somebody else,
Just
another,
like the old cabin, make them disappear.
you want to disappear.
Yeah.
Are they all wood or are they steel?
Let's not put it in quite
Alright,
that.
hold on, ladies. Hold on.
Throw them away.
There you go.
They're dilapidated, they're not.
Dispose of them appropriately sounds a whole lot better than.
Yes.
And
They
so,
have, they
so
have
dispose of
in
them
here.
properly.
Yes.
Okay. We got a motion set.
I'll motion to dispose of them properly.
We got a first and second, do we?
Yeah.
All in favor? Against?
That's all I got.
So you got?
I have something else with the park board in general, but it's really coming from me. So I was informed by the city clerk that, following the discussion with the city attorney, that all individual meetings of the Park and Rec Commission and the subcommittees must still be held as public meetings because these meetings are part of official minutes. So on behalf of the park board, I don't see any problems doing that, but we haven't been doing that per the information that I had been provided at the time. And I believe that council members also have committee meetings and discussions that are not public meetings. So it was not obvious to us that those would need to be meetings, public meetings.
If there is a meeting that is intended to discuss business, it should be have notice placed.
Business defined as,
If you are intending to discuss doing an item on behalf of the park board, if you're talking about essentially doing public business,
okay,
then it has to have notice, 24 hours notice.
okay,
Subcommittees get real complicated, and that's why I'm very careful. When we first started having all of the subcommittees with the Board of Aldermen, we've had discussions about that. Because if you make a subcommittee of 3, and 2 people meet at the grocery store and start talking about public business, we have a problem. Because that's majority.
okay,
So when you make a subcommittee, you are creating a pseudo-public entity.
okay,
If you have the entire park board, and 2 of you meet and are discussing, that's not a quorum, so it's not a public board meeting.
okay,
But when you make a subcommittee, you have created a pseudo
okay,
entity.
so maybe I don't understand what subcommittee means.
Well, subcommittee means when the body designates a smaller set to observe a problem.
Okay,
And the big issue is if you're discussing the public's business, you're supposed to provide notice so that the public can be present and be a part of
yes,
that.
of course,
So that's what I'm talking about. Anytime you're intending to meet to have that public discussion about public business, that becomes a public meeting.
okay. But when the aldermen have their committee meetings,
They have to post notice,
That's definitely
and they are required to post the notice on the bulletin board
okay,
And keep minutes.
and keep minutes. Yes, thank you.
So that's why I said with the established committees, and I think that's where it's like,
yes,
if there's not the quorum, like we said, and like,
Right.
once you establish those actual committees, that's when I was like, oh, we have to do something different.
And I also, again, email is the bane of the existence for municipal attorneys. all of these folks that have been with me for any length of time, because every time you hit reply all, and then you say what you want to do, you've just created a sunshine violation. So that's why email, if you're emailing one person and talking about what it is, but you gotta be real careful, because the sunshine law itself starts off saying, this is supposed to be expanded as far as you possibly can. So they want a very expansive view of the sunshine law. So they are trying very hard to make sure that you are not having discussions about doing public business in private.
Perfect. So going further with that, I was wondering, so I would like to have those subcommittee meetings held here, and I'm gonna be getting a key to the building so that we can do that. But I also wanna know, is it possible that we can record those meetings so we can ensure that the elected officials, community members have that transparency? Is it possible that we can make sure that we're recording those so that we're sharing that information to everyone?
So I can tell you right now, like Jessica is on vacation at our next meeting, and I don't even know how we are recording that one.
Okay.
This is a very old system, it's not good.
Okay.
I can't tell you how to run it, I have no idea. So, and we have discussed possibly looking for a new one, and if it's easier whenever we get a new one, it will be their decision. But I can tell you right now, I don't even know how to run it.
And I have equipment, my business has equipment that could be brought in to do that, but I don't even know if that would be appropriate to bring in equipment that's not city provided, so.
One of the things that you have to consider also is if you do the recordings, they become public records. The public records have to be kept for a specific amount of time. Keep in mind, I'm not sure how you're holding that data.
Right.
But that.
Yeah, because in my business, it's not like that, it's
Exactly.
public data,
Exactly.
so.
So we need to have some discussions to figure out
Okay.
what the format of that data would be and how it would be held. Because if we have to hold it for 10 years,
Right,
that could run into a significant amount of storage.
okay,
And that is part of the challenge of doing recordings, because, again, reaching back into the way back, and they were recording things on cassettes, if you can imagine, rooms and rooms of cassettes.
yes.
So we don't necessarily want to do that, because we're supposed to hold on to them and maintain that data.
Okay,
Just keep that in mind.
okay.
I have a question for you. For you.
Oh, yes.
We have these boards, the volunteers, and we have usually council members that are the liaison between them. What is the council members' duties at these meetings? What can they, what can't they do?
You're talking about city council members?
City council members that go to these board meetings.
Basically, what the city council members are intended to do in those instances is to come and listen, really. You can provide information, but mainly your purpose is to report back to this body what their recommendations are.
You're not supposed to, we are not supposed to take over the meetings and give our opinions. We're set to sit and listen.
Again, the intent is for you to be present. A lot of times there's questions, you may get questions from the boards asking what the city has done in the past, or what the city's, you may get budget questions and things like that. But for the most part, liaison simply means to provide information back to this board and report what their recommendations are. Now, again, if they ask your opinion, obviously you should probably give the opinion. But as I've said in the past, no council person can say what the board is going to do, because you don't speak for the board, you only speak for yourself, and you're only one member of that. That being said, sometimes we've had issues in the past where the committee says, well, we're voting to do this, so this is what's going to be done, and that's not entirely accurate either, because, as I've said in the past, as a fourth-class city, the city of Cuba the majority of municipal authority rests with this body. You are all elected officials. And each individually, you only have one vote, so you're 1/6. So that's why you can't speak on behalf of the board. But the committees themselves report to you. But just because the committee says, this is what we want to do, until it's approved by the board, it doesn't become anything. Does that make sense?
I knew that, because Ray taught me that when I first got on board.
Awesome, thank you all so much.
Do you want me to bring these up now, or?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
While you're doing that, I have a question, Lance, on the events, the committees. So, like, if we're doing official business, obviously, the subcommittee, all of them sometimes, well, I understand all of that. However, like, well, like Halloween and code, that's not a business, that's more of just an event of an individual, we don't have to do that too, right?
So, you gotta be real careful with this kind of discussion. And that's why I asked the questions that I asked to clarify. If you're doing it during the committee meeting, you're gonna have a real tough time selling that it is being done on behalf of the individuals. Either you do it after the meeting,
No, it'd be after the meetings, it would be, that's what I'm saying.
but make sure that the minutes reflect that that has already stopped, and then you can speak as individuals.
It'd be on a different day and time and everything, it wouldn't even be our morning.
And then specifically in our minutes, we would not have a subcommittee from the park that had to do with that event.
So
There should be nothing reflected in the minutes because it is not
Because it's
committee,
not
it is
part
not
of-
committee business.
Right.
It's stuff you guys are doing as individuals.
So it's a lot different than when we did the quiet manual, because that's the full person, right, compared to like Halloween. Those are obviously two different groups.
Correct.
Okay, just want to be clear on that.
And yeah, Lainey has some information about pool staff.
So we are needing to hire some more employees for the pool. We had 2 lifeguards that quit before they even started. I have 3 applications for lifeguards. I did discuss with them right before the meeting. My suggestion would be to hire all 3 of them. They still have to certify. We have to make sure they're going to certify and pass. I mean, at worst case, we're gonna have 3 extra lifeguards that can be used. So my recommendation, if they approve, would be to hire Lillian Baker, Robert Pittman, and Samara Holloway for lifeguards, as long as they receive their certification.
And we don't have a quorum of the park board to make that recommendation. I think the council has to make, my understanding is the council would have to make that decision without recommendation
It's
from
time
the
sensitive.
park board.
We don't have time to have a meeting.
And that's correct, we usually have 11 goers, even without the concessions, and right now we only have 7. So if they're going on vacation, they're sick, something happens, we're gonna really be in a time constraint of lifeguards.
I'll motion to hire the 3.
I'll second it.
Who's all in favor? Yes or no?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Oh, I have 2 more.
I figured that.
So we are also short on concession stand and front desk. Based off some recommendations, I would recommend to hire Gabriella Garms and Braden Gibson for the front desk and concession stands.
Got a motion?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Has everyone got their drug testing now?
No.
So everybody's been tested, we're just waiting for, we are still waiting for some results.
So what's that?
We're still waiting for some results.
So we don't have it all in, they're not
So-
all officially in.
So all those that are working have been tested. All those that are going to work.
So the ones that haven't been tested aren't working?
They have been tested.
They haven't
We're
tested,
waiting
they
for
haven't.
results to come back.
Oh, okay.
We don't have the results though.
I thought one had it.
Yeah, I thought one had it.
So one is not tested, so we took that as he is refusing employment.
Okay, so one has not been tested.
So,
So
yes,
you have-
3 of them did not test that were originally hired, 2 of them quit, and 1 just will not go take the test. So
Does
we are
the council have to accept their resignations?
Not really. It's a thing that we've done in the past, but no, you don't really have to accept the resignation, because if you don't accept the resignation, they're still not.
Right, there's one to show up.
We're still not.
Okay.
So the gentleman that, the person who hasn't, will not go get tested, Does he still have a job?
We took it as he refused employment,
Okay.
so no,
Yeah.
that's all I have.
Hey, couldn't did it, haven't you?
I did. No,
You skipped something.
What I forget? Oh, yeah, the furniture committee recommendation.
Are we still on the first?
we just moved on, but I mean, well, I'm sure we'll take where it's at.
Well, if not, we'll just talk later when we're done, so whatever you prefer.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So we met for the, products manual. I just wanna clear some things up, that way we're not, as a board and as a unit. We had a products meeting, which was a subcommittee meeting. Andy arranged it, let the manager know that we were having it, and apparently there's been some issues regarding this meeting. For the board, so, the manager was notified by Andy in writing that we were having this meeting. We had a aquatics meeting, and we walked in, actually they got there before I did, and the manager, the head guard, told us, I guess, where we could sit, that's where we had a seat. And then apparently there were some phone calls afterwards, so just wanna know if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask us right now, while we're sitting here.
My question is more for Lance. We talked before about volunteers and their role in anything that we do, us as well as anyone else. So I think one of my questions would be, first of all, and you didn't know about giving the 24 hours notice, I get that. But the location of being in the pool while the lifeguards, and I know that the young person who told you where you could sit probably was clueless about
She's a manager.
volunteering, about how volunteers, what their role is. So my question is, should we make certain that in the future, if they're going to have a meeting, that it not be held in the arena of where the lifeguards are working and the pool employees are?
Part of the reason we wanted to have that meeting at the pool was we wanted to go through the pool, look around,
And there's some
see,
problems.
and then we found some
for
issues
it.
that we need to address.
Okay, I'm not,
Let me start with, obviously, the first part is, again, all committee meetings have to be posted with 24 hours notice, and that has to be done at City Hall, because that's where the notice needs to be.
And I had told them originally that there was a misunderstanding, so I did not tell them they had to be posted, so that's my
I'm
best.
not being critical of anybody, I'm just explaining
just let it know.
the position. That's the first part. Second part, a committee cannot tell city employees what to do.
And that was not done.
Again, you have to listen. The committee reports to the board makes decisions. That's two. Can committee meetings be held in places other than City Hall? Absolutely, it happens all the time. I think the Board of Aldermen should probably have a discussion about where appropriate places are to have those meetings. Could it potentially be done at the pool? Yes. Understand that it could be very difficult, though. I don't know anything about the Cuba pool. I don't know that I've ever been to the Cuba pool, so I don't know what the facilities are like there. But if there's, I don't know what the situation was where it was posted. If you're putting people, if there's a lifeguard rest area, putting committee meeting at the lifeguard rest area, that can be problematic during pool hours. That being said, they can certainly have a committee meeting after pool hours or before pool hours without interrupting the pool facility. Just keep in mind, and again, I don't know what concession areas look like, I don't have any idea what any of that stuff looks like. Is it possible? Yes, but you probably shouldn't be doing things that would interrupt the day-to-day activities of the pool. Just like you can have committee meetings here at City Hall, but putting a committee meeting in that room during the hours of 8 to 4 doesn't make much sense, right? So I don't know that that I'm answering the question, but I think I'm answering the question the best way I know how.
Well, and I would just like to go in depth a little bit about this. We're not gonna have meetings where they're not appropriate, we're grown-ups, we're part of the board, and if we were part of the Parks and Rec board, it'd be facetious to not understand for us to then have to look at said Parks and Rec boards, to look at things when we're making recommendations of things. We have to look at things and say, hey, this isn't right, we need to look at this, okay, what do you think? I will tell you at no time while we were there did we tell anybody what to do. In fact, 2 times, the assistant manager or the head guard, nobody was manning the gate. We were there for like 2.5 hours. It's in a big area like this. We're at a table against the wall. I mean, it's big one. We weren't in anybody's way. And we went and got our eyes on us and hey, you have people at the front gate. We're not working there. We had 7 people at the front with a cash register. Nobody's up there. Nobody's manning the gates. Didn't happen again. At no time was anybody bossing anybody around or doing anything like that. And I think that we're really getting out of hand and working against one another when we're making phone calls about board members instead of talking to us. It's been very nice just to have a phone call to say, hey, what happened, instead of me getting phone calls saying, hey, someone's calling around and they're upset and all this is happening when nothing happened other than us trying to donate our time and make changes that benefits the community. Additionally, I was told that there are comments being said about my grandson, which is not appropriate and that needs to stop. At no time did my daughter bring her child to work or was on the clock ever with my grandson. In fact, when I donated over 100 hours of my own time last year, I had a bouncer there, and Jackson was on the bouncer while I cleaned, mopped floors, and on it, not to be rude, but I didn't see any of you guys up there helping. So I was there. So I was told that when apparently the new manager might be having their child at work with them, and I don't know that. I didn't report that. That's not even coming from me. That comments were made about my grandson. There's several people that were sent up here. And I just don't think that's appropriate. He's 18 months, and if anybody has a problem with things, including our board members, give us the respect or question us and ask us about it. Talking amongst ourselves is just gossiping. It's not finding a resolution, and it just doesn't need to be done. We're volunteering our time. Yes, we know we don't have authority to do stuff. Perfect. Okay. Can we move on from that topic? We are volunteering our time to help the betterment of the community. You're right, we don't get paid for it. You should appreciate that. So, let's be respectful to one another and not treat people like that. So I just really do appreciate that. That's one thing. Another thing is our pool is Red Cross certified. There's contingencies that require that. We are afforded grants if we do grant writing and things like that, because we are Red Cross. And one of the things that I worked hard for last summer was getting us Red Cross certified, which required a lot of stuff to get done, which opens up a lot of things. We discussed this numerous times last year. Nobody was even aware that we were Red Cross certified as a pool. You're right, I'm a volunteer, and I knew that because you guys didn't. So, I think we all just need to be on the same page and really work together and really stop the nonsense of this. I would appreciate that. I think it works better. I think that we're all here for the betterment of the community. But at no time when we had a meeting yesterday or Sunday, it was inappropriate. Andy had let them know well in advance we were having it. It was done in an open area. We were not distracted. We weren't talking. And in fact, you're probably lucky you were sitting there because you didn't have any of your guards or any of your personnel up there. Somebody could have walked away with your cash register, could have walked in facilities, and when it was brought to the attention of your staff, they didn't care. So you might want to be more concerned about that. I'm just being honest with you guys with that. So, at no point did that happen. I would just really appreciate a phone call with Andy, myself, or with Derek, if you would have thought something would arise. Hey guys, what happened?
Could I ask, Officer, when you saw this problem, did you call the manager and say, hey?
I told the manager, she was there.
The manager.
I told her she was the manager when I was told that.
No, I'm talking about the manager. You were
You
talking
shouldn't
about.
have to call that.
We weren't there to look
I'm
at
just
it.
asking, you guys are awfully defensive.
No,
I'm just
we're not.
asking, did you
We're not
call,
defensive at all.
did you
No.
call our manager?
No, it wasn't something I brought up. That's her job, so she said figure that out.
But no,
Thank you.
no.
Debbie, the assistant manager was there,
That's
and
what
we
yes.
let her know, hey,
Thank you.
nobody's up here
That's-
covering the gate.
I didn't need all the defensive stuff. I just
Well,
needed to-
and I'm not being offensive, but again, I would like Debbie, that if you have questions regarding myself, that you would call me.
I don't think I've had any questions regarding you.
Well, that's not.
I think what needs to happen is, we all need to find what our lane is
Our what?
and work within our lane.
I think we're aware
We
of
will have
that.
a hire, a manager for
Hold
the
on,
pool.
hold on. There's a whole lot of arguing going on, and we need to stop that, okay? This is a discussion phase, one person talks at a time, that's the way this works. I understand that there's been issues, I understand that some feelings have been hurt, but, well, you guys are both talking over each other. So that causes difficulty for everybody to understand, okay? At least at this point, she would ask a question. You don't need all three of you talking at the same time. This is the board, and we're at board meeting. If you guys have stuff to talk about personal, that's not for here. That's not from the board, it's not from you guys, okay? You said that if you have personal issues, you're gonna talk about them outside of here, please do that. Okay? Go on, sir.
Alright, now move on now.
Yes.
Thank you. What is your committee recommendation? Have any?
Yes, we got a few. Thank you to your park board members. That's a tough board to volunteer on. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. So we met in regards to the wastewater treatment plant manager position. It is the recommendation of this committee that the wastewater treatment plant manager position that they all have a copy of be approved.
We have a motion?
Motion to approve it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Anything else?
And it is also a committee recommendation that we post said job for at least 1 week in-house to see if we have any public works employees that are interested in this position, and then have time to review before the next meeting.
We have a motion?
When do you want that, when do you want to do it?
Well, the next meeting's on the 18th, so I was thinking a week, so that way if we have multiple interested candidates, we have time to have another posted committee meeting.
I'll make that motion, but I do want to say this. I think it's silly that we're posting a job that we gave him 4 or 5 years ago, and we sent him to training for it. But it's silly that it's already his job, but he's got to apply for it again.
Well,
But I'll make the motion to post it for a week.
actually, he wants to make sure that we go through this the right way, because he doesn't leave hard feelings.
Yeah.
His
Yeah, oh, I understand, you're doing what you were doing.
Yeah, so I,
Doing everything we do.
and I think it's a good opportunity, just, you know, and it takes the weight off his shoulders.
Yeah.
We got a motion.
I just had to say that, yeah, I'll make that motion.
So, well, like, what's today? The 4th, so maybe like the 11th? And then that way we have time to make a committee meeting if we have multiple candidates.
Sounds good, that's the motion, then.
I just need a second here.
I'll second it.
Not Tony made it, that is his motion, and you said.
That's my recommendation as a committee,
So you want to change it to Beth's Nelson?
please.
It don't make any difference who first and second, it just,
I already did that.
I had accurate for the minutes. It's gotta be accurate for the minutes.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Alright, thanks.
That's all I got.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah.
That's it.
Okay, now, hay cutting days.
So we did the bids per section, so I think the first one was the airport. We only have one bid for the airport. If you want to.
Proposal to the property of Cuba, Missouri hayfields. I, Mark McAllister, own of M&L Farm Services LLC, am proposing to cut, rake, bale, and remove said bales off of the airport property. industrial park, water treatment center, as well as any other properties in the area pending verbal discussion within 2 days of completing the field study, so long as weather and other unknown circumstances permit. M&L Farm Services LLC will pay $12 for each completed bale that is produced within the baling season beginning May of '24. I am willing to sign a contract for a number of years if my proposal is accepted. Within this contract, I also agree to line and fertilize the airport field property to ensure the prosperity of the land. Lime is a slow-acting agent, therefore it will need to be reapplied every 4 to 5 baling seasons. And fertilizer will be distributed evenly every other year, or as needed. If seeding is required, this will be discussed and distributed upon approval by the contract holders.
Which properties did that say? That is all three.
M&L Farm, where's he want to cut?
Yeah, did he say which properties?
He says the airport, the industrial park, the water treatment center.
Okay, so that's his bid property. Okay.
All three in.
Yeah.
So he's bidding all three.
And that's what, $12?
$12 for each completed bale, is what he'll pay the city.
And he's bidding all three.
So here's our next bid for just the Barnett part. $10 per bale. Please leave a message.
Is that just one or for all?
This is just for the Barnett part. His name is Doyle Bulls. $10 per bale.
Okay.
That's all it says. So, we have another one for the treatment plant field. I have a feeling this one's gonna be the same way.
I got something right.
$10 per bale.
Okay.
Bad cell service, please leave a message.
Y'all heard the bids, which needs that.
I'll make a motion for M&L Farm Services.
Okay, second. Motion second. All in favor? Opposed?
Now, then I'll make a motion to accept the rules for Barnett Park, because that wasn't included on that one.
No,
I think this is all of
Who
them.
said that?
Airport, industrial park,
Oh, okay.
and the water treatment center. So this one was a bid problem.
Oh, okay, all right. Gets it all.
This one I'm interested in. Okay, the EOC director bids. I'm a top state.
I don't think you,
Bid it for 5 years.
there you go.
You got that.
Proposal for Cuba, Missouri Emergency Preparedness Director, prepared May 28th, 2024.
Got a long one.
Can you read this whole thing?
No, I'm just kidding. It's a book.
Who's it from, where are they?
So let's, Katmai Preparedness Solutions LLC. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. It's Katmai. Is pleased to submit this proposals in response to the city of Cumulus request for bid emergency preparedness director. While our company is based in Alaska, we have employees stationed throughout the country, including 2 consultants based in Missouri. Our mission-based consultants come from a background of city and county emergency management positions, as well as a background in emergency preparedness and volunteer organizations active in disaster. Attached to this cover letter are the 1-page biographies for our consulting team, as well as a cost for the proposal for activities performed while working with you. If in-person travel, no, we're not ready for this. They want to bill us monthly using net 30 terms or prepay in 40-hour blocks. If in-person travel required, city will be billed for active travel costs as follows. Actual lodging costs, mileage at the current federal rate of 67 cents a mile, Meals and per diem at $75 per day. The city agrees to pay a minimum of 80 hours non-emergent work during the initial contract term.
Let's try that.
I guess it depends on how much time they put in.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, they're not giving a dollar amount.
Okay.
How much per hour and all the extras if needed.
Well, you heard me dead.
Can I make a motion to reject that bid? I make a motion to reject that bid.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Against?
Now, I wanna say this, I had a meeting before I came here with a gentleman, and, Kevin was there. He is working on a plan, for this. What his plan is he's gonna make sure that we're up to date with our codes with the state. And he has another gentleman who is an IT guy that's gonna work with him, and they're going to put together a web page for the emergency preparedness that will link, you could punch in the police department, the National Weather Service, and we'll have a web page for that. And, right now, they're gonna get a proposal together, and they will be bringing it to us within the next couple of weeks to present it to us. So
you wanna make a motion to go out for bids again?
Yes, so I'll make a motion to go out for bids again, and hopefully these guys have their ducks in a row to present us a proposal. I like what you were saying, it makes sense, and, so.
It sounds pretty good.
It sounds good what they have planned.
I have a question. If you do that, can it like go in with our web pages as well, like the city's page?
That would be a question you ask them when they come.
Okay, because I'm
This
looking
guy-
for something else for the city as well, so I was wondering.
This gentleman who is helping him with that,
Okay,
he's an IT guy at a place here in town, and he is very smart.
okay, will you send me his information, or if you talk to him, will you ask?
He'll be coming here,
Okay,
so, yeah.
So, Jeff, you think he needs 2 weeks to get it together?
I would
So we
say,
said 2 weeks?
I would say.
We got a motion, we got a second?
I'll tell him tonight to get on it, so, yeah, I'll make the
So
motion.
do we want to put a date on when it has to be received? or
Yeah, what do you want the date? How long? Week, 2?
When's the next meeting?
the night, or the 18th, or then the 2nd.
I will talk to them, and let's put it for the 18th, and I'll talk to him tonight to find out if they can have something put together
So you want
to present.
to do like 18 at 4 o'clock? The 18th at like 4 o'clock, so you guys can
That'll
have
work.
the meeting?
And then I'll get them to come here the 18th. One of them anyway to come and present it.
I know I got first, I don't know if I got a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Against? Okay, attorney bids. Look at him great, he's ready to go home.
We did receive one bid for legal services. Alright, you want
Go ahead and read that. Okay.
Charles A. Firth III, Union, Missouri. The legal services city attorney, please consider this note as my request to be considered for the city of Cuba attorney position. Education background, Vanderbilt University, back in 1983, St. Louis University in 1987. Experience, he's the current city attorney at the city of New Haven, 2002 till current, and the city of Berger from 2014 to 2018. Basic services is $600 a month retainer. Additional legal services $200 per hour. He is willing to attend city council meetings, planning and zoning meetings, park board meetings in the event that I am needed. Thank you.
That sounds pretty good. Well, how do we make a motion on this?
You need a motion to accept the bid.
Alright. We have a motion to accept this?
Motion to accept the bid.
Second. All in favor? Against?
Everyone said,
Thank you, Kevin.
We didn't.
I appreciate it.
Start.
No,
I think he's gonna tell us when they
Okay.
start.
When are you gonna start?
I think he's done.
our contract runs out June 30th. So I would say contact him and find out if he can start July 1.
So do we contact him or will you contact him, let him know?
You guys need to.
Okay.
I will return all code books, and if he has questions, I'm more than happy to help him get up to speed on anything that's going on, but,
My question,
yes, sir.
if he can't start, can we extend your contract by a couple
That's-
of months?
That will be a conversation this will need to take place.
But would you be willing, that's my question, I guess. Until he can start, if need be.
Put you on the spot here.
Let's find out what
When's
the
the
response is. I have no problem staying on, especially if we have somebody that's coming in, that's not an issue. But it's not for an indefinite period of time. And just understand, I'm telling you right now, I'm not gonna be at the second meeting in July.
Okay.
I got something going on. So,
Any doubt?
yes, sir.
Okay. Chief of Police report.
Nothing really, except a couple of, nuisance updates Gamer's working on. Tall grass and unlicensed vehicles on Oak Street, Route Subdivision Road. He's still waiting for the owners of that property to return his call. A couple places on East Spencer, he's trying to locate owners, and another place on East Spencer, he's talking to them about trash and furniture in the yard.
Anybody, any questions for him? Right, Ben?
I met with Jeffrey Briggs from MoDOT.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to send me some information on how to upgrade our current pedestrian walkway to have the flashing lights. Try to help with that. I just asked that the city police department start trying to patrol that pedestrian crossing a little bit more because nobody yields to pedestrians waiting there to cross.
Yep, pass it around.
Alright, thank you.
Old and finished business. Yeah.
I have none.
Oh, hold it, I got somebody. Come on up. We are.
Alright, sorry, I'm late. I'll just be a second. So, I'm Josh Evans. I grew up in my whole life. Some of you probably know me. I used to be in line trouble, not so much anymore. That being said, there needs to be a rec center here. There's too much money in this town. And I know it. We got these all this weed growing. There's no reason why we should not have a nice rec center. They recycle the pool. I mean, if we really want to help this community, we need to help the kids get involved in some stuff. And I know this from experience. I was Crawford County Month Wonder for years. And
Why don't you come to our meeting, our park board meeting, we'd love to discuss that with you.
Okay, alright. I ain't been in trouble in a long time. I mean, I ain't no saint, but I definitely want to help kids. It's just something to think about.
You live in the city?
Me?
Yeah.
I live in Cuba,
In the city? In the city limits?
county.
When we had a park board, member, position become available, you have to be, the members of the park board have to be residents inside the city limits.
What about property in the city too?
Would you, I think it has to be your home address.
It has to be the residency,
Yeah,
Residency.
residency.
but you can still attend.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
sir, still, yes.
I'm just saying something to think about, like
What do you think of jobs like basketball and stuff in the woods?
yeah, I mean, indoor basketball. I mean, there's that big field right next to the pool.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I know the city owns the place behind the rec center, behind the ball field. There's a lot of places that could easily, I do construction, I would volunteer my time, you know what I mean, to help. They're just, we need something. So, thank you guys for talking.
Take your Instagram for a second.
now, unfinished business, Jeff, have anything?
I have something.
Harold? Tony?
Someone reported before our last meeting, took a picture of it, but don't remember. But talking about the disarray of our old firehouse back here.
Yep.
The soffits are rotting off, the siding needs probably replaced at this point, but maybe paint might buy it some more time. But it's really looking ran down and not a good image for our city hall.
Okay, I discussed that with Jerry a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. What did you ever come up with, Jerry?
Well, we talked about maybe painting put siding on it, so if you wanted to offer bids or something like that, we don't have the equipment to put up siding.
That high here.
And get all the electric lines within 6 foot of the building. I mean, you probably need to decide if you want to offer bids, try to do that, or if you think we can try to do it in the house, but I don't think we have the equipment to do that. Especially with power lines on that. It's not a good scenario right here.
It's just electricity, Jerry, what you got to worry about?
Trust me, I will. I will do electric.
Add somebody come up to me and ask us that.
Yeah.
Great point.
I mean, paid for out of capital improvement.
It can be paid out of capital.
Well, it might be something that's got buildings in the budget.
Yeah.
In 26.
It
But
needs
it would be
more.
nice to know what our target is going to be. This is the city hall. It needs to look nice.
You need to decide if you want to try to do painting or siding and soffit finishing, because it needs all that needs some attention.
That's all I got.
Debbie?
The Arts Council has asked permission to, again, they're ahead of their game, to close Smith Street from Washington to Holy Cross Church on October 19th and 20th for Cuba Fest. Probably not a problem, they do it every year, but they wanted that brought before the council. So,
Motion to let them do that.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Against?
But you'll have to remind us come October.
we're not even. And then the other thing is, the Extension Council. The Extension Council meets on the second Tuesday of every month, and, I am currently doing it, but I'm not going to be doing it any longer, so they need the mayor to appoint someone to do that.
I didn't hear that last part, what you said?
You have to appoint somebody to that board, to that extension council.
Council?
The Extension Council, like, that works with 4-H
And do you have a recommendation? Or you want to table that until a couple of weeks? Let me think about
you think about it, yeah.
it. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get the right one. About the program, okay.
And I don't know that it has to be a council member. I think you could appoint anyone.
I just want to be had somebody in mind. But
Someone who's really excited about 4-H and the fair would be an ideal candidate.
Did I get it more?
That is all I have.
You interested? Yeah.
What?
Okay, Joyce, got anything?
No.
No? All right. Adjournment. Adjourn? Oh, wait, I forgot about Lane.
I did not. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Jerry has an employee, Brian Zellers, who put in his notice, so we just need to accept his resignation. When is his last day? Is it this Friday?
Make a motion to accept Brian's resignation.
We have a motion to accept it. Second?
And then you want to post or,
I have to have a committee meeting soon.
okay,
I got plenty up right now.
we'll do that sometime.
Yeah, we'll do it next week.
I have that one.
Okay, we have a motion to accept it.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
You have
He's
it?
doing it anyways.
All right.
That's what mine was too.
All I want to just thank everybody for showing up tonight. That's all I have. You got a motion to adjourn, right?
There's no way.
All right.
We got a motion and a second. By Howard?